Thank you very much for having me this evening. And I'd like to just say maybe a few things about my own pro-life formation, and then say a little bit about pro-life ministry in higher education today. So a little bit about my own pro-life formation. I would highlight maybe three things in my life that contributed to this. And the first would be the blessing of growing up in a large family. I am the oldest of 8. We had a very small house, just 3 bedrooms, 1 bathroom. So my parents' room, girls' room, boys' room, 2 girls, 6 boys. I was born first, then my sister Ellen, then came my brother Tim. Then my mother was pregnant and my sister was praying for that girl to come. And along came my brother Tom. So he got put into the boys' room. So then my mother was pregnant again and she was praying for that girl to come. And then my brother Dan came. He went into the boys' room. Then my mother was pregnant again. We were waiting for that, yes, that girl to come. She was crying and praying and almost crying. And then my brother Brendan came. He went into the boys' room. So then my mother's pregnant for the 7th time, and at this point it had just dawned on her that we were being deprived of oxygen, and she's got her own room. So suddenly we weren't hearing the tears anymore, and along came my sister Mary. The next one was a boy, and he went into the boys' room. My mother was pregnant for a 9th time, my senior year in high school, and we were very excited for this. But she lost that child, and we would gladly have shoved another one into that boys' room, triple bunk bed, or my sisters were ready to open their door for another girl. But we mourned the loss of that child. And I say all of this was part of my pro-life formation because, on the one hand, to see life and to see the gift of new life and to be up close to it in the way that we were growing up, as Deacon was just saying, it's the best formation that one can have. But also, we realized how precious life is and how precious of a gift life is when we lost our sibling. The other part of my formation, my pro-life formation, and the most important part would certainly be my Catholic faith. We grew up in a very strong Catholic household, and every night we prayed the rosary together, and we had this long litany of prayers at the end of things that we had for the family, everything. I could still recite it to you right now, I won't. But one of them was praying for the end to abortion and for all those mothers who were struggling with their children. And I was fortunate to have been in a wonderful, wonderful parish, St. Catherine's in Norwood, if you've ever been there. But the pastor there at the time on Senior Senate and the priests there were courageous pro-life preachers and witnesses. So I had the great gift of seeing and hearing the gospel of life preached and witnessed by my family and by our parish. And then the third thing I would highlight would be being involved really early on in pro-life ministry and work. My parents right away were involved in all facets of pro-life ministry. My mother founded the Birthright chapter in Norwood. My father they were both active in Citizens for Life. And as a result, I grew up in that atmosphere, seeing their work and taking part of it, going every year in January to Boston in the cold to march. Seeing my mother, I knew as a child she was going out to help mothers when she was going down to Birthright in the evenings. And I wasn't, as a child, fully aware of what she was doing, but I knew that she was reaching out to these women and to their children. And so they both gave this witness of life to us in that active ministry that they had, but also bringing us into that work and bringing us into that life. A little bit maybe about, that's my formation and great gift, but something briefly about pro-life ministry in higher education today. I've been a student in higher education, went to Boston College, and then I am now a teacher in higher education. I taught for a number of years in Rome and most recently at Holy Cross, and also lectured and been to many places around the country, so I've seen it at many different levels. I think, as you're well aware, even at many of our Catholic colleges, or many of our Jesuit colleges, pro-life is not preached, and it is not given witness to. And it's even more difficult in many of our secular universities. To be pro-life in these places, to stand out in that way, takes tremendous courage and risk. I remember as a freshman at Boston College, and again, one would hope for better at a Jesuit university, but I was a member of the Pro-Life Club right from the get-go there, and we sponsored a lecture one evening, and one of our professors, who was staunchly pro-choice, was there attacking our speaker, and then a number of us getting into debate with this professor afterwards. And I remember leaving this whole experience quite shaken and suddenly realizing, wow, I just was arguing with a professor who could be my teacher at some point. I just don't know. And I remember being, wow, you know, I was strong on what I did. I didn't regret that. But I was thinking, wow, this is the atmosphere that we find ourselves in. And then many a professor will tell you, again, in both Catholic and non-Catholic schools, to be pro-life could mean not getting tenure, not getting full professor, not advancing. You take a hit. Right? There's a wonderful organization called Faculty for Life for university professors around the country to take part in. And one of the things they do, though, is they will keep your name off their list if you ask them, because they know that if people find out in some places, you will be penalized. I've been very blessed at Holy Cross to be part of a courageous and wonderful group of students in our Students for Life group. They are not here tonight. I wanted to bring some, but tonight is the first meeting for the freshmen. They didn't want to miss that, and that's important. But these are a wonderful, wonderful group of students who stand out and stand up in the way they speak. You know, you watch them going around with their iPads with pro-life stickers on the back. You know, they are sponsoring lectures. They are really not afraid. You really learn how to be pro-life when you have to stand out in that way. Even last year, as you know, for March for Life, I don't know whether any of you got to it in that snowstorm. We did. We plowed through it, 15 hours. Yeah, that was, but these kids were truly amazing just to be on that bus trip with them, to pray with them, to be there with them, and to see their courage and their love for the defense of those who are truly most defenseless. But also in the way that they reach out to mothers in need. We have, over the years, students who become pregnant, and one of the things that the group does is to support them, to help them to get through their 4 years at Holy Cross, babysitting and providing all kinds of other care. So we need courageous people in higher education, both students and faculty, because this is a place where we need to move hearts, right? These are where our future is formed, and it is where we have many articulate people who have voices that we need on this. So we need prayers, but we also need courage. And so please pray for all those students who stand out in universities throughout the country, and also pray for the faculty in these places who courageously stand up and use their disciplines and their voices and their authority to speak out for the unborn and for the most vulnerable. Thank you.